Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are going through all the new cards for the WitchWood expansion. So right now, on the at least on the Asian account, you can go to My Collection, and you can click Crafting, which will then allow you to see the WitchWood expansion, which then allows you to click Include Uncrafted Cards, which then allows you to see all of that. And while you're doing all of that, please subscribe and click the notification button, even if you don't think you need to my channel. Last time we looked at the rogue cards, which just leaves us the Shaman, the Warlock, and the Warrior cards, and the neutral cards. So we're slowly making progress towards the end. So the first Shaman card, yep, Shaman's what we're doing today. Is a 0 mana spell called Zap. Deal 2 damage to a minion, overload 1. Overload is a key phrase only used by the Shaman. Having more overload cards makes sense. Having a 0 mana overload card kind of makes sense. It's a pretty good card, I would say. Of course, if you play this the first turn, then the second turn becomes your first turn. Because you have one overloaded thing, unless you play something to unlock your overloaded mana crystals. Next we have a 1 mana spell called Blazing Invocation. Discover a Battlecry minion. I doubt this card would ever really work too well for you, frankly, because Discover gives you 3 random options. The chance that you would get 3 random options of the many Battlecry cards that do something that you really needed to do, compared to just playing a 1 mana card that you know will do what you want it to do, seems very low. So that's just too random of a card for me. Next we have a 1 mana 0 attack 1 health beast minion called the Witch's Apprentice. It has Taunt and a Battlecry to add a random Shaman spell to your hand. Now there is a card that will double your Battlecry effects, so I could see slightly buffing this card because of that and getting 2 random Shaman spells. But then there's still random spells, and you're still filling your field with 0 attack 1 mana creatures. And they're not even Murlocs, they're beasts. Yeah, I cannot, in my mind, justify playing these cards. And we've had a couple of cards. Like, I like Zap, but I don't like these other 2. So I'm starting to get a feeling, since there's only about 12 cards that they're adding per hero class, that maybe they felt like Shaman was a little overpowered, and so they're giving some just general bad cards to the Shaman. Next we have a 2 mana spell called the Earthen Might. Give a minion +2/+2. If it's an elemental, add a random elemental to your hand. I suppose if you're playing an elemental deck, you could play this, and the main character that you often will play in an overload deck happens to be an elemental, so there's a little bit more use for this spell. There is a minion in the Shaman deck that gets +1 attack for every overloaded mana crystal, or every time you overload mana crystals. I think it's every time you overload mana crystals, regardless of the number. So this would buff that character pretty well and give you a random elemental, which might help just giving you random cards. Next we have a 2 mana 2 attack 2 health minion called the Ghost Light Angular, and it is a Murloc, which I believe this is the first Murloc that we've had in the expansion. On top of that, it has the Echo Key phrase, so if you have, say, 4 mana crystals, you can play one of these, and then you're allowed to play another instance of one of these. So for the 1 card in your hand, say you had 10 mana crystals, you could play this card 5 times and have 5 2/2 Murlocs on your field, which would be very, very useful for a Murloc deck. So I'll definitely put this in my Murloc deck if I end up having a Murloc deck, that is, which maybe I won't when all is said and done and I do the deck rebuilds. Next card we have is a 2 mana, 2 attack, 3 health minion, beast class minion called the Merc Spark Eel. Battlecry: if your deck has only even cost cards, deal 2 damage. We've seen cards that have battlecries like this if your deck has only even cost cards, if your deck has only odd cost cards. I have yet to see any instance where it really was worth your effort to build a deck like that. There's more than enough cards out there to do things like that. If you have nice big almost complete collections of cards, but it's not worth the effort, and this is just another example of that. You could get a 2 mana, 2 attack, maybe 2 health minion that would deal 2 damage too. So, and it being a beast really doesn't do too much for a Shaman deck, because there's really not that much synergy that I've ever seen with beast in the Shaman deck. Next we have a 4 mana, 2 attack, 3 health beast minion called the Totem Cruncher Taunt. Battlecry: destroy your totems, gain +2/+2 for each destroyed. Now, as far as totems go, so this is like a woodchuck. As far as totems go, you can have 4 basic ones that you can summon with your hero ability. And then I believe there's 2 more totems that are cards you can play. And there might be a card that would have you summon all 4 basic totems, so you have double that. So between all of that, you can definitely get somewhere between 6 and the maximum number of totems that would be on field, which would be 7. But if there was 7 on the field, you couldn't play Totem Cruncher, so there has to be 6. So 6 is the max number. 6 times +2/+2 would give you a +12/+12, making this 4 mana creature that is a then 14/15, which is quite high for what potentially could be played on your 4th turn, but probably be closer to your 8th turn. A 14/15 beast with taunt. This seems like a very good card. Yeah, I don't see how that doesn't play very well in a deck. And the other thing about their basic totems for the Shaman is that they're not very useful. Like, spell damage +1 is kind of useful. A 0 attack, 2 health taunt is not really that useful. A 0 attack, 2 health totem that can heal minions isn't that useful. And then the 1 attack, 1 health totem isn't that useful. So eating 3 or 4 of those even would be good. Frankly, even eating 1 of them to make it a 4/5 is a pretty good move. Next card we have is a 7 mana, 4 attack, 8 health elemental minion called the Bog Shaper. Whenever you cast a spell, draw a minion from your deck. I don't know why specifically this is a Shaman deck, but it would work a little bit. It's an elemental, and I still don't see a reason why this would help with an elemental deck that much. But it's a little low on attack for what it's doing. It is letting you draw cards, but only minions. And it's not... I can't think of a strategy where the Shaman would be specifically trying to draw a specific minion, that it was so important to have that minion. This is not like Yu-Gi-Oh! There are no Exodia card pieces, although I kind of wish there were. where if you had 5 of a special class of minions, you would just automatically win the game. There are certainly maybe a dozen or so cards that would work really well in specific strategies that you might draw for, but can't think of any of those for the Shaman. So I don't know what you're drawing for. Now this is weird. We have an 8 mana, 5 armor hero replacement card, which is really, really crazy because none of the other cards have gotten hero replacements. So either the Shaman hasn't gotten a hero replacement card up until this point, which I don't believe is the case, or now the Shaman has just been given 2 hero replacement cards where every other hero class only has 1. So you play these, just in case you don't know, and they give your hero plus whatever amount of armor, in this case 5, and they activate their battle cry, which would deal 3 damage to all minions, which is a decent combination here. You're dealing 3 damage to all minions, including your own, and you're getting 5 armor, and then it replaces your hero ability, which I guess maybe the idea, instead of having, I was thinking that maybe the weapon slot should be a secondary hero ability. Right now, I guess hero replacement cards are the only way you can get a different hero ability. And I suspect that's why this exists, is so you get this Bewitch passive hero power, which I believe this also is the first passive hero power you've ever been able to have in regular ranked play. So after you play a minion, add a random Shaman spell to your hand. That's interesting. So this gives you just random spells, which might be useful and might not be. Now, I actually know, come to think of it, that this is not the only hero replacement that Shaman has, because Shaman has another hero replacement that summons the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and if all 4 of those 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse are on the field, you win automatically. Much like Exodia, except for the difference is Exodia was 5 cards that had to be in your hand in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, where these totems are summoned directly to the field and have to all be on the field. So our final card is a 9 mana, 6 attack, 6 health minion called Shudderwalk. Battlecry: repeat all other battle cries from cards you've played this game. Targets chosen randomly. I could see this one working in some crazy scenarios rather well. You would really want to go back and see all the Battlecry cards that you have had in your deck before you played something like that. Like it would even repeat the Battlecry here to do 3 damage to all minions. But that seems like that's totally something that would be doable. Alright. This is the hero replacement that the new expansion is adding. Let's see if we can find the other hero replacement that already exists. Like, they wouldn't have sneakily replaced the hero replacement with something else. Wait a minute. This isn't that. This is the other hero replacement. I must have been thinking of the warrior hero replacement. Summons the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. I guess that's the case. Anyways, though, there are 2. Thrall Deathseer is a 5 mana, 5 armor hero replacement that has a Battlecry to transform your minions into random ones that cost 2 more. If you played that card that doubled the Battlecry and cast them again, that would transform all your minions up even more. This has the Transmute Spirit hero ability to transform a free minion that costs into a random one that costs 1 more. So it just slowly pushes up your characters to the highest amount that they can get, which I believe the highest you can get is 11, because I don't believe there is a 12 mana card out there. Although there are definitely some 25 mana neutral cards. Let's see if I can just really skip this over. So it can transmute you certainly to a 10, and there is one 11 it can go to, and there's one 12, well, 3 12s it can go to. So the only thing it can't transmit you into is a 13 or high, or this 20, which is fine, I suppose. So that seems a little weird to give a hero replacement to just a shaman. But then I also felt like some of those shaman cards were rather weak, so this might be the make good for that, to balance things out. Here is a hero replacement. Man, where is that card? The 4 horsemen. Let's see. I'll just type in the phrase horseman. Let's see. Summon. Summon would be too many cards. What if I typed in the phrase win? Well, geez, I guess I'll have to ask people to mention in the comments, what is that hero replacement card that summons the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse? And the game wins, and you win the game. Because I cannot find it. And I don't think that they would just hide it. Like, I really don't think that they would change that card. Well, we spent enough time on this. Apologies for spending too much extra time trying to figure out what the card is. Let me look at my chat. Nope, nobody has said on the chat what that card is. Somebody has put their friend code if anybody wants to friend that person on battle.net. That is perfectly acceptable and the right way to do it. Put your own friend code and ask people to friend you. Don't ask other people to put their friend codes. Well, that's it for this recording. Next time we'll look at the new cards for the next hero, which I maybe is the warlock. Yeah, I think it's the warlock. That's it. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. As you subscribe, click that notification bell. It seems like YouTube really requires you to do that now. If you want a friend or follow me on any social medias like Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description box. If you want to support me even further, gift me a game on Steam or gift me a gift card on Steam. That helps me have more games to cover. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.